So I wanted to go into a little more detail about all of the pre-existing conditions that are listed in the new Trumpcare. I talked a little about it in the last video about how it's directly affecting vets, but now I want to talk about everybody else. So as I said, the Republican plan is to completely replace the Affordable Care Act, the ACA or Obamacare. And it narrowly passed in the House today. So it rolls back protections with people with pre-existing conditions, which could increase healthcare costs for an estimated 130 million Americans. So the AHCA, that's Trumpcare, or Go Fuck Yourself Care, stipulates that states can allow insurers to charge people with pre-existing conditions more for health insurance. That was banned under Obamacare. Obamacare, as I've talked about, is, there's a lot of, it wasn't perfect. It was basically Romney Care. It was a Republican plan, but there were some good things in there, which they couldn't charge you for pre-existing conditions. Pre-existing conditions have always been a way for health insurance companies to just charge you more money. It's bullshit. If the states meet certain conditions, such as setting up high-risk insurance pools, insurers still cannot deny people coverage outright, as was a common practice before the ACA's passage. But they can hike up premiums to an unaffordable amount, effectively pricing people out of the market. In fact, premiums could reach as high as $25,700 per year for people in high-risk pools, according to a report from the AARP. So remember, the Republicans were saying that Obamacare was going to have death panels and it was going to kill your grandmother. Well, this Trumpcare is going to just flat out price them out. Yeah. People who would receive insurance through their employer would not be affected unless they lost their job or moved to the individual insurance market for some other reason. What counts as a pre-existing condition? Well, it depends on the insurer. They have the right to choose what counts as a pre-existing. These ailments and conditions were universally used to deny people coverage, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation, a nonprofit focusing on healthcare coverage. So this is all of them. I'll read. This is what was used to deny coverage. AIDS, alcohol or drug abuse with recent treatment, Alzheimer's, dementia, anorexia, arthritis, bulimia, cancer, cerebral palsy, congenital heart failure. Boy, cancer is cool. I mean, because cancer is not an expensive thing to treat, right? So if you can't get insurance, it doesn't just bankrupt you and have millions and millions of dollars. Boy, Republicans just love helping people out. Crohn's disease, diabetes, epilepsy, hemophilia, hepatitis, kidney disease, lupus, mental disorders, including anxiety, bipolar disorder, depression, obsessive compulsive disorder, schizophrenia. So if you suffer from something, if you were born with one of these things, haha, fuck you. Multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, obesity, organ transplant, paraplegia, paralysis, Parkinson's disease, pending surgery or hospitalization, pneumocystic pneumonia, pregnancy or expectant parent, and includes men, sleep apnea, stroke, transsexualism is a pre-existing condition. But Cynthia Cox, Kaiser's associate director, notes that the above list is a conservative sampling of all of the issues and maladies that insurers could use as pre-existing conditions. There are plenty of other conditions, even acne or high blood pressure, that could have gotten people denied from some insurers but accepted and charged a higher premium as others, says Cox. Here are some examples of those other conditions that experts have noted could hike premiums: acid reflux, acne, asthma, C-section, celiac disease, heartburn, high cholesterol, hysterectomy, kidney stones, knee surgery, Lyme disease, migraines, narcolepsy, pacemaker, postpartum depression. Shouldn't get depressed. Seasonal affective disorder, seizures, sexual deviation or disorder. Sounds like code. Sounds like they're saying that's gay. We think being gay is a sexual disorder. Ulcers. The left-leaning Center for American Progress notes that high blood pressure, behavioral health disorders, high cholesterol, asthma and chronic lung disease, and osteoarthritis and other joint disorders are the most common types of pre-existing conditions. Just how expensive are pre-existing conditions? A recent report from the Center for American Progress found that insurers could charge people with metastatic cancer as much as $142,650 more for their coverage, a 3,500% increase. But it's not just Republicans, gang. It's not just Republicans. I'm going to bring up an article here. Dianne Feinstein, our good friend, California senator, has meeting with health insurance. I'm going to type that in. We're going to see what comes up. Yeah. Dianne Feinstein, who has one of the Democrats who waffled on single payer. Here's an article that was in commondreams.org. This was published April 18th. And this was 3 weeks ago. But Senator Dianne Feinstein, a Democrat from California, was case in point on Monday when she faced angry and vocal constituents at a midday town hall meeting in her hometown of San Francisco. It was her stance on single-payer health care, an idea that picking up momentum in the wake of last month's Trumpcare debacle, especially in California. When asked about a position on such a system, Feinstein responded, "If single-payer healthcare is going to mean the complete takeover by the government of all healthcare, I'm not there." People started booing her, calling her a sellout. And then there was chants of single-payer now. And I'll put a link to the list that I was reading of pre-existing conditions, and I'll put a link to this. Here's why she says that. So, and I might just do a whole separate video on this because I just found an article where she just had like a fundraiser with some health insurance companies. So that's who Dianne Feinstein is. She's done that thing of she's in a very Democratic district. So she really basically however many years she's up for election doesn't have to do much campaigning because the Republicans know they can't win. So they just send out some Republican stiff. And there's plenty of, like, in red-leaning states, you'll have an awful Republican there who doesn't do anything or listen to constituents because that Republican knows the Democrats aren't going to put up anyone. Here's what they'll do. When the parties are in a district they know they can't win, they'll just put someone up and they'll put no money behind it and they won't get behind them at all. So it's why, like, Nancy Pelosi is up and there's just some guy starting to run against Nancy Pelosi, and that's what we need to do to Dianne Feinstein because she's against single payer. So, it's not, so again, as I've talked about, what the Trumpcare is doing and the pre-existing list is showing is just how the Republicans just flat out do not care. But there are always a fair amount of Democrats who are part of the problem as well, and they're getting money from big pharmaceutical companies and the health insurance lobby. The health insurance lobby is pushing all of this. That's why Obama was like, buckled to single payer and went with that Romney Care bullshit because they're getting all this money. It's the corporatists, and that's another reason why I bet you Dianne Feinstein was probably like, they're booing me. I just say resist Trump and I get big cheers. And yeah, you look at her Twitter feed, it's always these all cap, no, Mr. Trump, no. But then she's not for single payer because they've paid her to not be. So she's another person who I will vote out when I get the opportunity to, because her and Kamala Harris are my senators and Ted Lieu is my congressman. And I will vote them out if they're not doing their job. And Dianne Feinstein, I can't wait to vote her out. She voted for Mike Pompeo. She's against single payer. She's not a fucking progressive. She's a fake ass liberal progressive. She's a corporate Democrat, right? She's part of the problem, and she's been around too long, and we're going to vote her out. That's what we're going to do. So thanks for watching this, you guys. And it's funny, anytime you see this, you always have to go to like somebody's, cell phone camera video to watch this because MSNBC's not there, CNN isn't there. You think Rachel Maddow's going to do a story about how a Democratic senator, a long-sitting senator from Big Blue, California, is getting booed about single-payer health care? You think that's going to happen? No, because look who's buying ad time on MSNBC and CNN. Look, big pharmaceutical. You can't watch 30 minutes of network or big cable TV without some ad for Humira or some giant pharmaceutical company thing. They won't report it. I will. Bill Maher's not going to talk about this on his bullshit rich person Hollywood cocktail party where they think they're solving the world's problems by backing Hillary Clinton. Ugh. Dianne Feinstein, again, is just, she's big pharmaceutical, big health insurance that's in favor of gay marriage. That's the difference between her and the Republicans. That's it. Paul Ryan's an awful, evil dick who hates gay marriage and hates all that stuff. And Dianne Feinstein just is in favor of gay marriage. But she takes money from these giant corporations. Support the show on the Patreon, you guys. More of you are joining. I'm sending out the new Patreon rewards. So if you're at the $5 and up level, you get to suggest a video. You get to suggest an article for me to talk about. So I just sent out those emails. So please, sometimes the Patreon emails go in spam folders and people don't respond to me. But so if you're at the $5 and up, and a couple of you did the $20 level where you get the earbuds DVD, I'll be shipping those out this week. So thank you guys so much. I love doing this. And it was really cool, all of you that joined in the Super Chat Sunday yesterday, and all of your comments and all the things we talked about for almost an hour. And I'll try to do that every weekend if I can. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.